Welcome back to Day One Voiceover. My name is Robert Vienna, and this video is going to be a little different than the norm. If you're coming across my channel for the first time, this channel is about documenting the process of starting a career in voiceover from day one, hence the name of the channel, Day One Voiceover. But I've been getting a lot of requests recently for some information on how I put my videos together. Some of you guys out there that have been watching me have some interest in setting up a channel of your own. So I figured I'd share some of that process. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time and are just looking for behind the scenes info on a YouTube channel, well, here you go. I do have some voiceover content that I am going to update, so stick around to the end. I did an interview with Ken Malmstrom recently, who goes by Demo Santa, and he's launching a new community of voiceover related talent and content, and I'll share more about that towards the end, and some ideas that I have for future videos as well. But let's talk about my behind the scenes, because it's funny that, you know, some of you have reached out and commented on appreciating kind of the aesthetic of the overall channel. And thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. But behind the scenes, it doesn't look so great. I'm kind of a minimalist. I like to accomplish as much as I can with as little as I can, which kind of relates to my voiceover thing, which is why I probably haven't done as much coaching as I should have by now. So lesson learned that I'm realizing right now. But talking about the content itself and putting videos together, one of the things that seems counterintuitive about putting a video together is that in order to have an effective video, you need effective audio. No matter how pretty a video is, no matter how well shot it is, if the audio is bad, no one's going to want to watch it. Whereas the reverse, if the audio is great, then people can get by with just okay video. So the audio is really, really important. And in doing a content like this, one of the important things is that I don't have terrible audio based on my environment, very similar to voiceover. Now, this room that I record in is very much a functional room in my house, and there are bare walls to my side, bare ceiling above. There's a dresser in front of me, there's a TV mounted in front of me, and that creates a very echoey environment. So what do I do to get past that? Let me show you. This is what it looks like. This is what I look into. Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm going to use my phone to record some of this. So like I said, there's a bare wall there and a TV and a dresser with hard surfaces. And that reflects a ton of noise right into the camera and microphone. So what I end up doing is covering it up. Like you see there with the blanket, I cover the TV, I put some pillows to reduce some of the hard surfaces that are around, very much to what you would do in a treated space for a voiceover booth. Only in this, it's just very temporary. So then, in comes the microphone. So let me show you the microphone that I use. This here is a Amazon special MOVO camera, which basically is a knockoff of a Rode video mic. Before I started the channel, I did some research on what microphone I should use, and this is, yeah, a knockoff of the Rode video mic, but it had great reviews and compared just fine with it, and it was a little cheaper, so I went with it. Now, one of the important things to note here is that I have it off camera. So you see there's a long cable there that goes right to the camera, and by the way, that's the little screen that I use to monitor myself. Most people use a bigger monitor than that. That's basically all I use. I just glance at it, make sure I'm properly in frame, and then I go forward from there. And so that's the audio. That's my audio setup. Now, one of the things to note here is that I still put some treatment after I've recorded. So right here, I'm speaking without the treatment. As you can hear, there's a lot of echoey noise in here. No matter how much I try to treat it, even though there's bed behind me and carpet here, it's still a very echoey room. This here is with the treatment. It's still not overly fantastic, but it does the job. Now, let's talk about the camera itself, which you likely already saw in that prior shot. I use a Canon EOS 6D Mark II. This is my professional camera for my photography. As you may know, I've mentioned in the past, I've been a professional photographer for a long time. It's one of my true original passions, and this is just the gear that I use. The camera itself, the 6D Mark II, it's probably 6-7 years old at this point. So it's actually kind of an older camera, and you can probably get one at a decent price. It's very good with low ISO environments. I'm sorry, high ISO environments, but I can manage to keep it pretty low in here with my lighting, which I'll talk about here in a second. And then there's the lens itself. The lens is a Yongnuo, you can see there, 35mm f2. Now, the reason why I have this particular lens is because when I first started making content, I used to use a 17-40 zoom lens, and it was tricky getting the focal length right every single time I recorded something. If I bumped the camera, it went out of focal length. So with this being a fixed focal length lens, a prime lens, I just always know that it's going to be there. Look, if I set my camera up in the same spot every time, then great. I know the background's going to look pretty similar, just some slight tweaks here and there. The f2, if you know anything about photography, is what gets you that nice blurry background, the bokeh as it's called. So that's why I like using that. That's a little bit of my prior photography experience coming through in the overall aesthetic of the channel. And this lens can be had on B&H Photo Video for just a little over $100. Which is a lot cheaper than a Canon version, probably at about $800. So that's why I use this lens, and I enjoy it. I think it suited me fine, and I like the aesthetic behind me as well. So now let's talk lighting. Lighting is actually one of my passions as well. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy photography as much as I do. The word photography actually means writing with light. I'm not sure if you knew that or not, but I enjoy sculpting light. I enjoy manipulating a scene with light. And at the same time, like I mentioned before, I'm kind of a minimalist, and I like to get by with as little as possible. So let me show you my lighting setup. This here is an Amazon special. I don't even know the name brand, but it cost me less than $40. That's about 8x10, about an 8x10 LED panel. And as you can see, it sits next to all of that. And this is what's referred to as a key light. So a key light is the main light source in a video or in a scene in general, a photo, anything along those lines. So the key light is what provides the main source of light. From there you have fill light. So let me show you my fill light. This is my fill light, which is actually just a little LED panel, not very big, about palm size. This is something I use for my product photography as well, and I basically just have it on a tripod. So the reason I have that light is because it's also part of my professional photography kit, but again, those can be had at a reasonable price as well. And the reason why I have the fill, so that's called the fill light, and the reason why I have that is if you pay attention to my face, notice how it provides just enough to fill in the shadows there. Without it, my face would be too dark on this side. So key light here, fill light there. And then the lights behind me, those are called practical lights. So those lights are made by Govee, and they are adjustable LED lights where you can change the color, you can put different settings, make them flash and transition from one color to another. Now, you've probably seen me use this color combination for most of my videos, for probably about the last 15 videos or so. Bonus points to anyone who knows why I use those colors. But basically it's just aqua and orange. It's very much a complementary set of colors. In general video, there is a color treatment that you can apply to standard videos, and which you sometimes don't even notice, but highlights would be tinted slightly teal and shadows a little orange. And it gives just a nice moody effect. They just happen to be a favorite color combination of mine. And I use the app to control them. You can see here, you can basically choose different colors. I have these colors on the bottom that are saved. And one of the reasons why I like to use these bulbs is because of this. This is still a room that's very much in use in my house. So rather than leaving these lights here permanently, I just basically go into the app and set it to a normal color whenever I want to. And then when I'm doing my videos, I'll go back and choose the color I want. So when I'm done, they just go back to regular lamp colors. So it leaves minimal footprint on the space after I've recorded my videos. So that's the lighting. Nothing over the top. And by the way, these are all very controllable lights. It's actually in the middle of the afternoon right now, so it's very bright, but I have my blinds pretty much closed so that if I ever have to record it at nighttime, it'll still look the same. It's one of the things about using natural light, that's where you're kind of at the mercy of whatever the weather is outside. So I choose to use very controllable lights so that I have some consistency whenever I'm making my videos. Okay, so let's talk about video. The equipment I use, the software I use, etc. First and foremost, I use an iPad for my editing. This is my iPad Pro, and since it's an iPad, I need a card reader to get my videos in. So I use the Anchor card reader, which provides a headphone jack. And the headphone jack is important because that's where I plug in my Sony headphones so that I can listen while I edit. So after I've shot all my footage, I dump it onto the memory card, dump it onto the iPad, and then I open up Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro is my editor of choice because it's simple, it's easy to use, and it's never really failed me to this point. So if you can see here, this is where I have on the left side all of my prior videos that I've recorded all the way up to video 18. Prior to that, the videos are stored on a drive somewhere. But it's a simple process. So let me show you some of my settings. New project, and then from here, title it, let's say episode 35. Format, I will choose custom. The reason for choosing custom is so that I can choose 23.98 frames per second. Kind of gives a little bit of that film look, even though I don't have a lot of motion in my videos. It still gives a nice little aesthetic. And then for color space, I like to choose SDR. Reduces the file size a little bit, and basically it's all you really need for online YouTube type content. So after I've chosen this, I hit continue. I will go to, let's say, my photos. You can see some of my prior videos and such in here. Let's throw this in here. So you can basically get an idea of how I process this. Very simple matter of dropping this onto the timeline, make my cuts, see where some spaces are, some mistakes. And then of course, I can go up here and let me put this on there we go. Then I go up here, I can add soundtracks, titles, etc. And titles, this is where you can find that familiar intro that I use, but of course I change the color to, again, aqua and orange, which you might not have noticed, but it matches the color scheme. And I basically just take it from there. Let me go back to one of the prior videos so that you can see what that looks like. Let me edit this one. And you can see when you're done with the final project, it kind of chops it up a little. There's kind of a lot going on, right? So that is my that's my video editor of choice. I won't go necessarily too deep into the actual video editing process. There's a lot to go into that. That's more of a style thing. But then there's the thumbnails, right? So for thumbnails, I use Canva. As you can see here, these are all of my prior video thumbnails. Goes back kind of a ways. And Canva is a pretty standard piece of software in the industry right now for content creation. They've pretty much established themselves as one of the most used products to generate this type of information. Nothing too deep to go through in here as a kind of a behind the scenes thing. If you want some information on how to put thumbnails together, you can find some great tutorials online. But you can basically start from a template that's quite literally called YouTube thumbnail, and then just take it from there. So from there, some of the important things to talk about is when you are uploading a video, don't just simply upload it. Put some thought into the title. Put some thought into what you're going to put into the thumbnail. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of information out there about what you should and shouldn't do. But one of the things that I've found effective is that you don't want to put the title of the video as the same title you have on your thumbnail. avoid that so that there's something to break it up and there's more keywords for an algorithm to pick it up. Hashtags aren't as big a deal now as they used to be, but I still choose to use them. I enjoy putting them up there. And where do I find the hashtags to use? ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT ask ChatGPT what hashtags you should use based on the content of the video. At the same time, ask ChatGPT what description you should put under the video itself. Now, be mindful of not just copying and pasting what ChatGPT tells you. Break it up a little bit. Remove those annoying double hash marks that they put in every one of their scripts and just copy in general that they spit out. Change it up. Put your own spin on it. Remove something that things that aren't relevant. Include things that might not have been listed in what ChatGPT gave you. But suffice it to say that I do those things because they're important. Add those details. Be mindful of those. Those are the little things that will help you get noticed as you're trying to grow the channel. I'm by no means some kind of YouTube expert. I currently have 1,100 followers or so, and I'm happy with that. And I'm still in my first year-ish or so. So I got no issues with where I'm at with it, and I enjoy doing it. I'm just trying to share what it is that has worked for me. So that's the YouTube behind-the-scenes content that I wanted to share. For voiceover-related content, I have a couple of updates that I wanted to share with you. One is that, as I mentioned early on, I did an interview with Ken Malmstrom. Ken Malmstrom goes by Demo Santa. Ken is a longtime audio engineer who is now basically offering services to create demos for voiceover artists. And at the same time, he's created a community that he's going to launch here soon for voiceover artists, where you can have workout sessions and ideas and bulletin boards and forums. And it's going to be a great environment for especially up-and-coming voiceover actors. And really excited to be a part of it. Here's a quick little snippet of the interview itself.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first Voiceover Village interview, and we're spotlighting Robert Vilhena. Vienna?
Vienna, the L's make a Y sound.
That's proof to everybody when they're reading copy to make sure they clarify on that, right?
And so if you want to watch the whole thing, you can be a part of the community itself. You can reach out to me. I can try and maybe give you a copy if you really wanted to watch it all. It's not very long, but I was really excited to do that and to be a part of this community. And you know what? You know how that came about? Because Ken saw my YouTube channel. Again, that's one of those benefits of this channel that I never really anticipated. I really created this channel just so that I can leave kind of a trail of what it's like to start a new career. I never really expected the connections that I made from it, nor the people reaching out saying that I've inspired them in any way, shape, or form, which is so far beyond humbling that I can't even describe. But yeah, it came from the channel. So if you are on the fence about creating a channel, if you listen to DJ Dykes, which I know many of you do, he's encouraged it as well, go out and do it. Start it. Just take that first step. Hopefully what I've shown you here has provided some level of information there for you. And then the last voiceover update, I'm getting some additional shortlists. I've recorded a few auditions recently that I was really proud of, and it kind of inspired me to kind of make some little demos out of them. I'm by no means a professional. I'm no demo Santa, but I like putting that stuff together just kind of in a rudimentary way, at least so that it's good enough for the pay-to-play demos that you put up there. And it just kind of got me thinking about maybe doing an updated video about a behind the scenes on making voiceover demos in a DIY fashion. I'll say now what I'm going to say in that video. If you have the means and the prior coaching and the skill set, get a professional demo done. If you feel you're ready for it and you can replicate what's in a professional demo, then get a professional demo done. That's always going to suit you best. It's what agents want to hear. It's going to get you the most amount of work. But we know that this industry can be tough to get started. So there is going to be some room to DIY some of this. And for one of my next videos, maybe the next one, I'll talk about my DIY demo process. So if you stuck around all the way to the end, as always, I really appreciate it. I know some of you do regularly. Can't thank you enough. You guys are my champions. And if you have any questions about what I've shown here, if you want to learn a little bit more about some of the equipment that I use or my process, please feel free to reach out in the comments. But as always, like and subscribe. And I hope to talk to you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.